coming back to school with me. We could have done it all so easily.
Hi, my name is Craig Thompson-Wood. I'm the board game teacher. Thanks for coming to the classroom. Today I'm taking a look at Upwards by Milton Bradley. So in looking at the report card for Upwards, I'm going to give the number of players a B. It plays up to 4 players, and in my books, that's a good number, and B is a good grade, so B is for 4 players. For learning, I'm going to give this game an A. This game is very similar to the game Nab-It, which I'd reviewed before, in that it's like Scrabble. It's from the makers of Scrabble, but Nab-It was a simpler one. And in this game, you are stacking the tiles to create different words. So like Scrabble, you're building words, you're building vocabulary, you're developing spelling skills and vocabulary development skills and such like that. So Nab-It's just like that. But with this one, you are also tallying the points as you go along. Whereas in Nab-It, you only scored at the very end. This one, you're counting for every time you're putting tiles on, you are scoring points. So you have the additional thing on top of the fact that you have more tiles and more letters and more words you could be building. You also have the constant thing going on with the addition of points. So adding that element in. So Nab-It was great, I think, for the critical thinking, problem solving, the language development, all those kinds of things. Upwards has all that, but then it also has the addition, the subtraction, multiplication, whatever number of factors you'll be using to tally up your points. And I say multiplication because if you have 6 groups of 1 or 6 groups of 2 of the points, there's different situations that may arise. You can see that when I show you how the game is played. But there's some basic arithmetic that goes on, which is going to bump it to the next level for me, which is the A. For fun, I'm going to give the game a B+. I think this game is really fun. I think it's something that the kids would enjoy playing. And the only downside to it is, of course, like the old Scrabble thing on is that a real word, is that a legal word, and challenging people on words and just having to slow down and stop the game to go checking up words and things like that. But again, that's all again part of the learning. It's just, it can kind of bog down the game a little bit, but other than that, I think it's a great game, a lot of fun. Particularly now, I think this game is much more fun than Scrabble for the simple fact that you did the novelty of stacking the letters, but also the opportunity to build on a word that somebody has to make it your own. It just makes it more fun. For cost, I'm going to give the game a C+. I give it the C+ because the only place I found it for sale right now is at Walmart. And for Walmart, it's about $37, $38. Which to me, I was a little surprised actually that it was that expensive. I mean, like I said, this game is basically Scrabble, just with the novelty of being able to stack them. So you have a board, which the pieces slot into, you have the tiles, and that's pretty much it. So there's really not a lot to this game. So that kind of surprised me that it was going to be that expensive. So this kind of thing being an activity in the classroom, you could do one thing, one group playing the game, but I wouldn't think that you'd be buying this for multiple copies, particularly at that price. So it's good, and I would say if you think this is a good fit for your classroom, I think it could definitely work in well for a mindful activity or an activity you'd be doing during, like, say, a Daily 5 program. Or if you're lucky like me, you can find it at a thrift store, which is where I got my copy, which is why it's an older version. But yeah, so just keep your eye out for it if you like. But also, like I said, where I found it was at Walmart. LevelUp.ca might be able to get it for cheaper because she's focusing more on those board games. So if you're interested, maybe you can contact LevelUp.ca and see if she'll be able to get it, and if so, for what price. Well, I'm going to take it to the table. I'm going to show you how this game is played. This is going to be the basic setup for Upwards. You're going to have the tray where everybody's going to be playing their words onto. They're going to have their little rack here to keep their tokens on, and then you're going to have all the tokens put down in such a way. To determine who's going to be first player, every player is going to keep lifting up tiles and looking at them, turn them over until one player finds the A. Whoever finds the A first then becomes the first player. Then every player is going to take 7 tiles, and then you're ready to begin. So the first player is going to take their words and they're going to start off the board with a thing. So I'm going to put down N, A, I, L. Now when you're starting a new word, you are scoring 2 points for every letter
that you use in your word. So I'd score 2, 4, 6, 8 points, or 4 times 2, like I was talking earlier about multiplication. So every word that's a new word gives you 2 points for that you've in your word. So then my opponents, let me just quickly grab some tiles here for my opponents. 2, 4, 6, and 7. And I'll take my 4 back. 2, 3, 4. So my opponent could do something like this, where they add the S to this word. Now, when you're stacking the letters, you're going to get 1 point for every letter in the stack that you're putting in there. So they're going to get 2 points for this stack because there's the N, the S. So there's 2 letters in the stack, and then they're also getting 1 point for every letter in the thing there. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for this one. So even though the reason they're getting less points now is because they're not creating a new word. Just to keep stacking on other people's words is not going to get you the most points possible. Okay, so then I could add like an R, A, N, T. So for rent, I will also get 8 points because even though the A was already placed before, the fact that I'm creating a new word from it means that the A still counts for me because it's for the new word. And then I'll take my 2 back. So for something like this then, so if my opponent puts this one down, then they're going to get the 2, 4, 6, because there's a new word here. Then they'll get the 1, 2 for this one, and another 2 for this one. So even though, because 2 words were created, they're scoring this O twice, because it's being used for 2 different words. So 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. The best thing to do is to look through the rule book to make sure you understand all the different ways of scoring, because there's several different variances of different things that will be happening through the game. So make sure that you read through the rule book and understand all the different ways of scoring, because like I said, that is the most complicated part of the game. Beyond that, it's simply just building words and trying to, your basic Scrabble game. And for looking at the points and how to score, it's all here on the inside of the rule book. They give pictures and examples of how to score in the different instances and how to score your words. So just like I say, make sure that you read that carefully, make sure you understand how you're scoring the points, because that's going to be very important for the playing of the game. Unless, of course, you choose to play for no points, in which case, good for you. Points are overrated. One important thing I want to mention is the distribution of the letters within the game. So you see here, for example, J, Q, U, V, X, and Z. There's only one of each of those tiles in the game. So that way, if you should, for example, see the X somewhere out on the board already, then you know that that's it. You're not going to be seeing that letter again. Also, just if you're waiting for a Z, knowing that there's only one of them out there is perhaps not the best strategy to be building your whole plan around building a word with that Z. Or if you're going to try to spell a word like puzzle with 2 Zs, don't bother. There's only 1 Z. So that's a very important piece of information to know, and the player should be made aware of that at the time that they begin playing. And that is how you're going to play upwards. Well, that's going to wrap it up for today's episode. If you have any questions about Upward, or you have any more suggestions, because this actually was a suggestion by another viewer, so thank you for the suggestion. This is a great game I'm happy to have in my classroom. So if you have any other games you'd like me to review on the channel, please leave me a message in the comment section below. Or if you have any ideas for things you might like me to talk about, or other things like that, again, leave me a message in the comment section below. But until next time, I'm Craig Thompson with the Board Game Teacher saying, thanks for coming to the classroom.
Are you coming back to school with